engine, this car, and this engine is stuffed. Now it'll cost about probably between $4,000 to $7,000 to get an engine from the wreckers or auto recyclers, if you want to call them in the US. What we do is we buy one that's a stat write-off, right? We swap the engines over and resell it. And most of the time, that doesn't cost you any money. This one here, it took us about 4 hours to rip out this engine. 4 hours of hard work. But now what we've done is this is the engine that's ripped out from the stack right off. Generally about 4 hours work. There's a lot of very hard bolts to reach on these. If you have a look at it, see when you these ones here, some of these bolts are very, very. Let me see. Let me look at them. These bolts, because everything's in the way. There's the sensor, crank angle sensor. But all in all, it's the cheapest way to do it. You buy a step right off, and you buy, instead of buying an engine, you're looking at $7,000, $4,000 from the wreckers. What you do is you find a step right off that's done about 50,000 to 100,000, and you just swap over the engines and resell the step right off right later because people want parts. Or you can wreck the step right off. This one today will be taking it out. This will take us about 4 hours. Everything here has to be taken off. Everything here has to be taken off to pull the engine out. All right. You have to take off almost everything. Here's an example of the other one. Because the sun's will start right off, we can carry this cut right across here. The other one isn't a step right off. The same thing, really. It's just a little bit easier if you cut the radiator support. Once you rip out the radiator, you rip out everything around it. Just lift it and push it forward. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can actually take the K-frame off and disconnect the steering and the brakes and everything and just lift it and undo all the bolts. But that's also some very hard work too. This I'll take pictures as I go along. So I've taken off the radiator. I've taken everything off the side. And I've taken all the bolts around the engine off it. I'll show you how you take the bolts around the engine off. It's really quite easy. You get all these extensions. You go to the back of the gearbox. Back, you see this? You put it on. And where's that tool gone? A second. Where's that tool gone? Oh, this will do the job. Okay. That's the only way you're going to do it. This way it takes you a few seconds to take a engine bolt off. All right. You just put that on. And once it's on the bolt, see these extensions here? They're wobbly extensions. So you can go to angles. Let's put it back together. All right. And then what you do is you put this. And just rotate. That way a bolt will take you seconds. This will go. You push it right up against the bolt. So you're going to have a lot of angles on these cars. If you don't do it this way, it's going to take you all day. I just go from the back of the gearbox. I can see the bolt. Straighten that on. Use a single hex. Don't use a double hex. See that? Single hex. Don't use a double hex. All right, you get these extensions depending on where you want to bend. See how they bend? 30 degrees. All right. You push that straight in. Then sometimes you have to get a brake bar to loosen by hand. All right. Put that on and whack, whack, whack. And that bolts off in seconds. You're not there all day on it. I mean, it's not up against the bolt now. And I can't do it underneath the car because you can barely. I mean, that's why I go from the back of the gearbox. That way you can see straight through, right inside. And all you have to do is get a light Once that once that is up against the bolt, that's it. And like I said, no double hex, single hex. If you put a double hex, right, it'll slip and go everywhere. If you can fit a longer extension, by all means do. Not that that makes any difference, right? Those bolts are off in seconds. Once you do that, it's just now I've just got to do the torque converter, all right? And that's how we do it. That way, we're not sitting there all day with a single spanner trying to take off a bolt. Just usually your extensions have to go to the back of the gearbox. Because once you're at the back of the gearbox, you can see the bolts. Otherwise, you can't see the bolts. Yeah, this is the bolts on the old engine. They're not on there now, but you see where they are. There's the, you can't see them. You can't put the spanner inside. You can't put your hands in here. So you go to the back of the gearbox, straight through. You can see it. Put the single hex socket again, as I said. Put it on there, and zip, and zip. Maybe you might need a brake bar, but that way you take them off in seconds, not hours.